I want you to sneak into a parade dressed up as a clown.
Okay.
And you have to hand out flyers that Chad and I will design for you to in the crowd for a clown workshop that you yourself will put on if anyone calls and signs up for the workshop. Your
if
name
anyone calls and signs up for the workshop,
then you actually have to put on the workshop. I will allow that workshop to be done digitally, like via Zoom calls.
Does it cost money or is it just free? Is there any sort of
it's
barrier?
It's a free workshop. and your name's going to be Grabzo the Clown.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Cash Me Outside. I'm Caden here, joined as always with Christian and Nips, and we're excited to be here with you tonight. This is actually Chad. If you haven't listened to episode 1 or 2, go back and listen to that. But we're excited to be here. For those of you who are just joining us for the first time, we're what would you call us? A fan podcast for the Utah Treasure Hunts. We're out here looking for $25,000 with a lot of other people here in Utah, and we hope you can help us find it and enjoy listening along the way.
Yeah, that's the most important thing. We want you to help us find it. We're just here to
crowdsource we want to help you find it. We want to help you find it.
That's more
yeah,
probably what we're doing. John actually pointed that out in his Instagram stories this week, in which he also shared the fact that some people have been messaging him and saying that kind of accusing Dave and John of producing this podcast to purposely to purposely mislead and make the hunt go longer.
I love this for multiple reasons. This has layers. One,
ouch.
It's like we are so bad this has to be a conspiracy.
Yeah.
2, I love drama, and I love that there's like a tiny little seedling of a conspiracy about our podcast.
I love it because I think this is the first time I've been involved in a conspiracy.
I love the idea of them being like messaging us like, hey, yeah, you waste more time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Talk about trail snacks.
Talk more about baths. We need more bath content.
Can you give us 10 minutes on Lower Croft? Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. And then at the end, just do a musical number, please.
Yeah. No. So they're not involved at all. And never will be.
Something with that though, just to defend us just a little bit. I feel like there's always some pressure when we start recording to like, oh, we got to have something really good to say. I actually think the value is in the brainstorming more than like presenting. Like you do have really good solves a lot of the times, but I think there's a lot to be said
but
for
they've never led
just
us
a
to
big
the treasure.
Yeah.
I mean,
but every single year,
yeah.
We have discussed on the podcast, we've discussed several of the answers, which were the right answers.
True.
Like they came up and we discussed them.
And to this guy saying we're misleading people, I was right about music being not the main theme, but a main theme. I don't know if you guys saw the recent post on Cash Me Outside's Instagram account, but it was very compelling.
I did.
I don't know who did that, but it was good.
Man, he must be handsome.
Yeah. Yes. Also, Chad started a contest without telling me, in which he decided he wanted to give out $25 to any of the listeners that roast me and make fun of me in the most aggressive and funny manner.
Yeah, and I don't think that contest got across because it was just like written in the video podcast, so anyone listening didn't see it. But we're going to continue that because we didn't get a ton. There were still some mean comments. Yeah. I don't think they were trying to be part of
That's the best part is like, I just assumed that the mean comments that were directed towards me this week were because of that. But no, they were just mean
You also
comments.
got some nice ones though.
Yeah, so the funny thing about the comments and the reviews that we get, before I get to that, the contest is $25 for the most creative review/comment that is an insult to Christian, like the most creative insult to Christian. $25, big money. Anyways, the funny thing about all of the comments we always get or all of the reviews is they almost always insult us. It's like a 5-star review. This podcast, you guys are terrible treasure hunters, but what was that one?
Yeah, they're just like terrible treasure hunting podcasts, but great for musical theater trivia and performances.
Yeah,
which
that's my favorite. That's my favorite review. See, that's all I want this to be. You know what I mean?
This is more just a conspiracy to have a podcast secretly about musical theater, and then just wrapped around a treasure hunting podcast.
I do like how you slipped what was it, like 3 or 4 years ago, you just slipped in the tradition at the end of the hunt to make a musical number about the hunt.
That's so funny.
And now
Just
we
surprise.
have to do it.
Yep, exactly.
Now we have to do it
Yeah.
every year.
No.
If you want to know what we're talking about, go on YouTube and watch. Do you remember what it was called?
It was
One Trail More.
Well, that was last year. You did American Pie, the first one.
Yep. And the
And
second
And
one.
the second one was
American Pie.
You'll Be Back by.
from
Hamilton.
Yeah.
Oh,
that
yeah.
one
And
was
then-
my favorite one.
That was the Jack Key season.
And then our most well-produced one was the One Trail More
Yeah.
from last
Okay.
year.
That was
Well, one of the mean comments I do want to call out was the person that says, you all need to take a bath. You look greasy as F. Yeah, you should tell your mom to use less baby oil. And then maybe we wouldn't have that problem. I don't know why all three of us. I'm starting to think through the connotations there. Okay.
Well, it was different timing.
Yeah.
But yeah, we do have some comments. These ones come from Spotify that I'd like to shout out. Firstly, Black Rabbit. Thank you, Black Rabbit. Your wives / Becca are lucky gals. I feel like you should take them flowers after each podcast. But otherwise, I like the insight.
I don't know if I understand that completely.
So
But are we the lucky ones, or are they the lucky ones?
I think they're commenting. I spent a little too much time talking about Emma Watson and Laura Croft on our last episode.
Oh, that's
yeah,
what it
that's
is.
probably it.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
yeah.
You're in luck because Christian's wife does not listen to this podcast.
Yeah.
Nor does mine. So
She
Becca
won't.
listens.
She won't hear about my two.
Becca's the best, man. Becca's so supportive.
Yeah. she
Becca
is.
listens. Becca's mom listens.
Hmm.
Becca's sisters listened.
Oh wow.
So yeah,
Wow. Does she have cousins that listen?
We
We need to grow this audience.
it's very niche.
Okay. Any more comments?
Yeah, this one. Thanks, Christian. I don't know why Christian just got the shout out there, but
Because most of the good ideas come from
yeah,
Christian.
that's true. Because thanks, Christian. I am more confused than ever. So
Oh, okay.
that comes from
So was it
MP.
an insult? Okay. For a second, I thought maybe it was a compliment. Okay.
And then here's another one from Danielle Milesbury. Utah has tons of U picks for Peaches and Payson, Lehigh, etc. So thanks, Danielle.
I think he's talking about the
It's a fun
Princess
fact.
Peach line.
Yeah,
but,
I
Fun
know.
fact.
but also maybe
Oh, no,
she
no, no.
just.
We're coming up on peach season, so that's tuck
No,
that away for
She's
August.
responding in last episode. I had asked about peaches in Utah.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
He's from Brigham City and doesn't know
I'm not
that
from Brigham City. My parents moved there when I was older.
there's- Okay. He's familiar with Brigham
He
City.
lived there. um,
Yeah. Any there's some from YouTube. Do you have those pulled up or do we some good
Yeah,
ones?
there a lot of them are just different people's solves, and I don't know that I want to read paragraphs on here. So
but we do appreciate it. Thank you for commenting. Thanks
Yeah.
for listening. Please continue to do so. Feel free to roast me. $25 is literally half our budget for the entire season, so we're not giving that away lightly.
it's also 1/4 of my salary.
The
I think it was a good joke. I think it was worth saying.
alrighty. Should we talk about the new clue that we got?
Yeah, let's do it.
What- you
Before we
first.
dive in to that, we do have something special coming up, an announcement of sorts that
It's
you're
ju-
just gonna have to stay tuned for. We
It's a
don't know if it's
special
gonna happen
announcement.
now,
It's literally just an announcement.
if it's gonna happen
It's-
in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, at the end. I don't know. You got to pay attention the whole time.
Yeah. If
Pay
we told you
attention.
when it was going to be, you would just jump to that and then you would stop listening.
I know.
Yeah.
So it could just be mid sentence.
Also,
is very
with
exciting.
editing and stuff.
I have hemorrhoids. Just joking. New clue came out. Pretty cool. Got a pretty good one. Obviously, we talked about, referenced it, the music theme. It mentions that there's more than what meets the eye. And that to me, that means the obvious reference to music of Dark Side of the Moon is either not a reference to music, or there's obviously other layers or additional lines that are referencing music. But that, it's just as we were talking about trying to undercover a theme, that is one of the themes. Now, he says it's a theme, not the only theme. So there probably are multiple themes, or it doesn't need to be as pervasive as a theme as like Spanish was last year.
Wasn't there some sort of reference to how deep it is? It's a deep. Don't give me that. It's deep in music theory. Like it's buried.
It says, well,
Was there not-
so it's, I'll just read it
Read
so
it,
we can, so we're not dancing around it. A central theme of this year's poem is music, as you may already know, yet there's more beneath the surface than meets the eye at first glance.
Yeah. Do you think there's anything significant in that distinction?
No, just that a central theme, not the central theme.
That's the most important part of it.
Well, and then there's something more that meets the eye. So I don't know. You had a good question.
Is that not true of like every solve?
Yeah, but it's like, is it music theory or is it music history? Is a kind of a big question I have. And
Or is it something else
yeah,
related to music?
Yeah, music theory, like music construction. Like, is it a part of what's the phrase? Like the architecture of a song. How do you call it when like the little notes?
score?
Does it have anything to do with notes? Is it
Or
tempo?
like
Is
the
it
key that it's
key,
in, the
right.
meter
Things
that
like
it's
that,
in, things
register.
like that?
or is it musicians in Utah that have come to Utah? Which
Yeah.
we'll get into that, but that's, I think, an important question because
Or is it just
both
like
get
lyrics?
deep.
Because lyrics are different than what you're talking about, like music theory type stuff.
yeah.
I'm inclined to think that it's not going to be lyrics, just because lyrics are there's so many lyrics, there's so many songs out there that the like logic tree of all those lyrics and where you could go with it and like rabbit holes you could jump down are just endless. And it feels like there needs to be some more thing that is like a connecting force in the poem rather than just like, oh, this is a reference to a lyric, which is actually a reference to something that happened in Utah history. Well, what lyric, what song? There's, even if you told us an album like Dark Side of the Moon, there's a million songs and lyrics you could take and run with that would just send you all over the place.
Yeah, and I would be surprised if it has to do with like what you're talking about, music construction or music theory, like the meter, the signature, the like construction of the song, because I just think that's pretty vague. Like it'd have to be a specific song, where I think this theme is more.
Well, and also music theory is like, sorry to interrupt, but like music theory can like, you can get really in the weeds with that, and that could be really isolating. People who didn't grow up
For sure,
knowing the piano,
but
and like
if you're trying to
it's
hide
hard to research, I think that type of stuff.
you guys are. I feel like you're discounting those paths because it's too like there's too many ways you can go with it. If you're trying to hide a treasure, you kind of want to do that. Do you know what I mean? Like, you kind of have to go down that road. If it's something easy like lyrics, or what was the other one you're saying?
Well, but not saying that it's easy. I just think that it just seems too abstract. I don't even abstract isn't the right word, maybe. But
I mean, a good point of it is like one of the clues from like previous thing was like Back to the Future, right?
Right.
And it was just two pines,
which
is just one.
The
little
name of the
scene
mall
of
and
one little part of a big movie trilogy, right? Like it. I guess you're right. I just think like if you go lyrics of just like all songs in general, like it there's just so much. And even if like you find the album, it's just there's so many things you could do with that. But you're right. I mean, they're trying to make this hard for a reason.
Yeah.
The second hint. Anything else on that one?
No.
There are no secret double meanings on line 5. There is an arrow somewhere
That's a pretty
along the
helpful
trail, and you should follow
I think
it.
This is such a helpful.
That's huge.
that is a huge one. It's just going to save a lot of people a lot of time
So much time.
because the arrow. I mean, even still, like I've still seen some people doing like the BYU, the arrow in the Y.
Yeah, I mean, because you could technically say that's like an actual
still,
arrow.
Yeah, you could.
And I think this was awesome because you don't have to waste a lot of time thinking about this. Here's what I'll say. I think this is kind of interesting. Like, since they knew they were going to use arrow in the poem, does the following line of Pharaoh lose as much likelihood of being like an exact on the nose Pharaoh? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, if arrow is literal, and they're like, okay, we've got to run with arrow.
We have to use arrow because there is an actual arrow
Yeah.
that you will see and have to follow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Pharaoh loses
No,
some of its luster.
I don't think so.
I think so.
Really?
You don't think it loses
You're
some
later
luster?
in the poem. You're on the trail. This is no longer like you're researching things in history and stuff. It's something that looks like something on the trail.
Yeah.
You're using your eyeballs while you're walking. So I think while it could be like a couple steps away from a literal meaning, it's physical and it's there.
But they could have said something else. It's not like Pharaoh was the only word they could have used.
Well, the reason I'm saying this is I actually think it's more likely that the Pharaoh is like the word they found. They're like, oh, this rock structure looks like a Pharaoh, and I got to rhyme something with this. Oh, there's arrows on this trail. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I think it's probably more likely that way, where they find the unique thing that they would want to point out, like the Pharaoh rock structure. And then like the throwaway line is like arrow. Well, there's tons of arrows on every trail, right? So it's like they're not really telling you much.
Yeah,
So that would
maybe.
actually make me feel more like the arrow and the Y is not it, because that is too clever. And this is more of like, and the reason they're giving this as a clue is like, screw it. There's trail
arrows
markers
everywhere.
with arrows
Yeah.
everywhere, so it's not really going to help you isolate it.
Yeah, that's fair.
One thing I do think is really interesting is the fact that they told us about how long the hike is this early, because it's short. It's by far the shortest hike that they've had if it's less than an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it says from where you park your car, reaching the chest location shouldn't take more than an hour.
Geez, does that mean that you're doing more in the car? Like you're driving up a canyon and then finding...
Maybe or
I
maybe
mean,
not.
you think?
I don't know.
I mean, the reason this is a little concerning to me is because I think this could increase the chances of people stumbling across it without solving it entirely, where they just feel like they have one good connection to one line
And they
of
just,
like, oh, there's walk the plank. I saw a cool bridge here. Okay, I'm just going to search for an hour, because it just narrows it so much where like people could just walk 30 feet off the trail and just like with a couple of people and just walk an hour.
yeah,
I
but
do
still,
kinda doubt
an
that-
hour's also not nothing.
Yeah, that's true.
So
I do kind of doubt they would make that type of mistake. Like, have they ever accidentally made it too easy? It's gotten harder and harder and harder every year on purpose. Like,
I think the Spanish
I
year
feel
was
like they've
not as
gotten-
hard as the Arc Math year, but yeah. I mean, yeah,
Yeah, maybe.
to me, it almost
Yeah.
makes me feel like they don't think anyone's close.
Well,
If
of course not. It's like the third week.
I know, but I mean, they get tons of people messaging them that if they thought, oh, some people are really catching on here, they're not going to help them by eliminating that. Instead of going hiking 3 hours, it could be 3 hours.
sure.
You're going to be an hour.
Do you know what I wish? Oh, man, I kind of wish they wouldn't do weekly clues and they wouldn't end hunts.
Oh,
I
That-
wish
that
I
they could
wish
just-
that they would just Forrest Fenn, like that guy didn't get any crap for how hard that was to find. It was a lot of money,
I think
but
he may have. I think he was like in hiding famously.
was he?
Yeah, and he
Well-
died before it was found.
But still, I don't know. I think it'd be cool if
That
if
would be
there
crazy.
were
They
multiple
just do it every
25,000s.
year.
Yeah, and it just
And-
stacked.
Okay, what,
Like
you,
the
That would-
intrigue, the intrigue would stack.
what if it go up? Like starts at $500. It goes up by $500 every week.
So they go up and put more in the chest every.
No, I
what
mean, I don't know. It's not all the money's in the chest as it is. They just do IOU.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. That's true.
But that would be kind of fun.
That would.
What if you found it and you're like, wait, I could just like not actually find it and just like
Well, that would be crazy because then if they still did a new one every year, you'd have to compartmentalize. Okay, I'm thinking about the Back to the Future treasure hunt versus the
yeah,
Dark Side
the,
of the
like
Moon.
overlapping ones.
Yeah,
Here's
yeah.
the thing. Yeah, the reason I bring this up, I feel like the weekly hints, for some reason, make people feel entitled to John and Dave making it easier for them. Like, do you know what I'm saying?
Was that a producer note that John gave you?
Yeah.
It was-
Yeah, no, I didn't tell you guys about that one.
At minute 15, talk about
I see what you're saying.
Dave's looking thinner nowadays. Don't you think, guys?
Dave. Hold the clipboard up. I can't see what you're trying to say. Okay.
John is taking this divorce really well.
No, that is. I do see what you're saying though, and I think that would be very interesting if
Yeah.
they just said, "Okay, we're gonna do a hunt with no hints."
I would
But-
love that. I would love that. I would love if that is eventually turned it out
I do
I don't
think
know.
it's fun for them, probably though, to
to be as involved
To be
as
involved
this,
and to
yeah.
And
engage.
I will
It would-
personally say, like, I get re-energized anytime a hint comes around because I get
For
burned
sure.
out easily.
yeah.
And then when I get fixated on things too much and I get burned out. And so when the clue comes, I feel like, oh, it gets me going again. It gets me going again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
maybe if they did it like a mix between the QR code. I mean, we're talking too much about this, but a mix between the QR and the poem hunt,
Mm.
where there are stages. So it's like, oh my gosh, someone solved it, and then it gets leaked.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I like that type of thing where I mean, yeah, I don't know what
Okay.
point I'm trying to make, but continue.
No,
No,
that's
those
interesting.
were the clues. I think they were pretty good ones. I especially like
Was
the
there
arrow
not one more?
No, that was
Okay,
it.
That was
Okay.
it.
So now we're going to start a new segment, which, like many segments, may last for 1 week. And this week is Caden's crazy coincidence. Caden's crazy coincidences.
And connections. But to be clear, they're not necessarily mine. They come from all over, and they're just things that we have found.
Why are they Caden's?
Because of the alliteration.
Okay.
Can you redo it and you announce it?
Christian and Chad also actually
Yeah.
Chad.
Yeah, we all start with C's.
I know, but you guys are
Christian, Cadence, and Chads.
No, but you
Crazy
guys are
coincidence.
chuz. You're not cuz.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
so,
So we have a new
Christian's a
segment.
Christian's a cut. You don't say Tristan.
Chris.
Y-
Crick. Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
Yeah,
Chad.
but
Do you want to do Cadence? and
you're a
Christian?
poor man's
Yeah, that's
chuz.
right.
Okay.
A poor man's cut. All right.
Ew.
Okay. Okay, yeah, so we've got a new segment this week, which may or may not come back next week, but the name that we came up for it is Caden's Crazy Connections and Coincidences, which is mostly just an alliterative name to talk about things that we've seen, things that we've found, but just things that don't necessarily fit into a solve. Christian's going to share a solve that he has after, but these are just cool things about Utah history, about
Maybe
lines
like
of the poem.
yeah, specific lines.
They don't have as many connections, but they could. They might be a missing piece in
Right
someone's
now,
song.
we don't have a place to fit them in, but they're cool, and we feel like they're worth talking about.
Yeah, shout out to Sheila Kidman, who had a post on Facebook that she was kind of doing this with, that kind of inspired this for us. Which hers is awesome. If you guys go on the Facebook group, you could find that a couple days ago. But
Yeah. Okay, a couple interesting ones I found. I texted you when this was happening. It's like, no way.
Yeah.
So when I knew it was a musical theme, I was looking for individual lines and references to musical artists, especially then finding connections of those musical artists to Utah.
Yeah.
So Carole King was one I found because of King. Neil Diamond because of the Shining Jewel. And Bob Dylan. There was a references to one of his albums that has the lion in it. And then also The Who. And it was crazy. I started thinking, okay, when did these people perform in Utah? Did they ever perform in Utah? And I started Googling, when did Carole King perform in Utah? 1976. When did Neil Diamond perform in Utah? 1976. When did Bob Dylan perform in Utah? I'm just typing these in.
Yeah.
1976.
That's crazy.
Which is nuts. That I was just like, number one, that they all performed in Utah. They all performed in the same year, almost 50 years ago. So I thought it was really interesting.
It's also a bicentennial year. I don't know if that's significant, but
yeah. The Carole King I thought was kind of interesting. She swept the Grammys.
Was it that year?
Years ago.
In 76?
76 or 75.
Yeah.
So like before the king was crowned. So I was interested in that.
Yeah,
on the
cool.
day
I like that one.
that it was released, 50 years from July 5th.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know
The number one song was a Carole King song.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
What was it?
I don't know her name.
Do you remember?
I don't know. It was probably amazing. And the anyways, the Osmonds were like just below it. So it was like
Okay.
only
Wow.
outshone by, or like a Jewel. Like, did they rank just behind Neil Diamond, who was just behind Carole King?
Yeah, interesting.
So, anyways,
Yeah.
yeah,
I like that.
Interesting. Another one I thought was interesting. Looking for musician connections that were outside the box for Princess Peach. Thought Princess Peach being capitalized PP and how she signs her letters as PP in like the in Super Mario is being like, maybe that's just supposed to direct us towards musicians. Led Zeppelin, who I also really like for the connection to Standing Steps, whatever it is, because of Stairway to Heaven being one of the most famous rock songs ever. The two singers of main musicians of Led Zeppelin were is it Robert Plant and Jimmy Page? It's Plant and Page, which is I thought was interesting in being PP. The people who named Led Zeppelin were actually members of The Who, and the people who named Led Zeppelin, their last names were Moon and Entwistle, which I also thought was really interesting.
What's Moon?
The Dark Side of the Moon.
Oh, yeah.
Just like finding like interesting references to that. So anyways, random connections could be, I don't know, missing link to one of your solves out there.
Yeah.
But musical connections to Utah.
I've got a couple. Pink Floyd's, one of their songs, Money, is in a very uncommon meter, 7/4. And even though John and Dave, the treasure hunt didn't start on July 4th, I, for some reason, have been fixating on July 4th. They hadn't announced that it was going to be July 4th. And I don't think it was. Did you find something with the +1?
I did.
I thought they announced that it was going to be July 4th. So I've thought that maybe that is interesting one. What's the other one? RSL's anthem. A lot of people are still on the soccer teams, which I don't love. But RSL's anthem was created by the Used lead singer, who's also from Utah. I don't know if that's anything, but it's music and it's Utah. Anything else?
Cool.
And for the fun facts, it's named after you. Do you have any?
Yeah.
No, I don't have a computer in front of me. We talked about this before. We only said it's Caden's because it rhymes with, or it starts with the "k" sound.
Okay. Well, thank you for hosting that
You're welcome.
compelling segment.
You're welcome.
Do we want to do bets now?
Okay.
Talk about the bets?
Yeah, we'll talk about our bets and punishments, and then we'll do our solve, and then somewhere in there we'll do our fun announcement.
All right.
Okay.
Yes, the fun announcement. Stay tuned. It's coming up.
So every year we do a little thing where we make a bet about the poem, and then we set a punishment for that bet if we're wrong. Okay. So we want to finalize the bets and the punishments. We'll try to not make this too long. Caden, what's your bet?
Well, my original bet, what we talked about last time, was that I didn't think that the treasure would be found in July. But now that we're at July 20th,
That was always
I'm getting
that was
pushback.
always
It was
a dumb one.
brainstorming. Yeah.
That was always a dumb one.
Okay. What do you think about pushing that back to August 15th?
Sure.
How long does that make the hunt? Like
A month and a half.
5 weeks.
6 weeks.
6 weeks.
6 weeks.
That's pretty good.
Okay.
I know, but
I'm okay
but-
with it.
I know, but
We'll
what
get
I'm
it, but
saying
you
is
do have to
I
have
do
a
have to
severe-
have a bad punishment because I understand that it's likely to go past August 15th.
Okay. So my punishment for you.
Wait, should we do the bets and then the
Sure.
punishment?
Sure.
My bet. Do you remember what mine was? My bet was gonna be. Crap. We were talking about it beforehand. You do yours. I'll remember.
So my bet will be that a lyric from Dark Side of the Moon has
Oh, yeah.
no impact. Like there's nothing from a lyric in Dark Side of the Moon that plays a role in the poem. That's all.
In the whole album, there's not a lyric that.
Not a lyric. So if like the album cover has to do with it, then I'm okay. But if there's a lyric in Dark Side of the Moon, or even a title to a song in Dark Side of the Moon that plays a role in it, then I'll
What
do
if
my
the
punishment.
Okay. So if the title's a lyric,
Yeah.
then it counts.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have one.
Yeah.
So
So
you
this
don't
isn't-
think. So to be clear, you don't think that
I don't
any
think it
lyric
is.
or any title.
Yeah, I will lose my bet if a lyric or title from the Dark Side of the Moon plays a role in solving the riddle.
That is
Okay.
that's so risky.
I feel
That's
strong.
pretty
I
risky.
feel
That one is
strong
so
about it.
risky. Do you actually?
I do.
Okay.
It's not capitalized, guys. And there's more than what meets the eye, is what they said. So I feel good about that.
Okay.
This is not the one we talked about before, but I feel strongly about this one, so I feel good about it. That Real Salt Lake has nothing to do with it.
Okay.
And I feel like that's also risky because it could.
Can
But
we
I'm
say
pretty
can we
sure
say
it's
no soccer teams?
no soccer teams at all?
Yeah.
So it could be like Real Monarchs
Yeah.
or Salt Lake City Monarchs,
Yeah.
whatever that is.
If any soccer teams at all have a play role in it, then you lose your bet.
I feel like
Okay.
that's just the same.
I'm
I
okay
feel
with
like
that, but that's pretty risky too. So I would ask that my punishment not be too much.
Okay.
All right.
So my idea for your punishment.
good. It'll be the same regardless.
Okay. Yeah. Let me adjust that in my head. Okay. Actually, we can't adjust that because my bet for you was that when you lose your bet from that point on, you have to eat 40 hot dogs before you eat any other food. So I'm going to adjust that and make it lower to 30 hot dogs
Okay.
before you eat any other food.
I'm okay with that. I really like hot dogs.
So you
I don't
understand.
think I'll
that's-
enjoy that. I won't enjoy
That's a
it,
lot of
but
hot
I think I
dogs.
can do it.
You understand that means like if you wanted to get through it fast, you'd have to eat 10 hot dogs a day for 3 straight days
Here's the thing.
with no other food and no water.
Here's the
No,
thing
you
about
know
this.
water.
I can't get water.
Here's the only thing about this. No water. Here's the only thing about this punishment is it's not very like shareable.
I think it'd be very shareable.
Like
Yeah.
you're gonna record me.
Just
like,
record yourself how you're feeling after every
Just-
5.
okay. Every
Just a little
Or how
check-in.
long it takes you. Just
see how
just do
much
it.
weight I gained.
Just do a little
Oh,
vlog
yeah.
every.
There's got to be something harmful about that.
Yeah, I think so. You're going to want to space those out. Okay. Joey Chestnut can do it. So can you.
Okay, I'll do
That's
it.
true.
Okay, Caden, your punishment, I have an idea for you. Tell me
Okay.
what you think. So I would like for you to dress up as a clown. And Caden has a unicycle and knows how to run a unicycle. I want you to sneak into a parade dressed up as a clown.
Okay.
And you have to hand out flyers that Chad and I will design for you in the crowd for a clown workshop that you yourself will put on if anyone calls and signs up for the workshop. Your
If
name will.
anyone
Your,
calls and signs up for the workshop,
then you
what?
actually have to put on the workshop. I will allow that workshop to be done digitally, like via Zoom calls.
Does it cost money or is it just free? Is there
It's
any
a-
sort of
It's
barrier?
it's a free workshop, and your name's gonna be Grabzo the clown.
I'm happy to pass out flyers.
Grabzo.
I'm happy
Oh, my
to actually host it. Okay.
Yeah,
I don't think
I
it'll
will
go
allow you
fast.
to do it digitally
Okay.
because I think it'll be hilarious for these people to join Zoom calls.
That's true. And I can
And the first thing-
I can record the Zoom and we can share clips of it.
This isn't the most difficult one I've ever heard, and I did want a more difficult one for you.
Yeah.
This is super difficult. Are you kidding me? Can you imagine him having to try to host like, okay, this is the first thing you're going to want to do.
Yeah, but
He'll be like doing the clown makeup with him.
can we
Okay,
have a stipulation? Can we have a stipulation that he has to actually hold it, even if nobody comes? We will be on it. We'll record it. We'll invite treasure hunters.
I don't want you
Listen.
to think this is tough.
Well,
He has to hand out flyers
he
saying
has
that
to
his
do it.
name is Grabzo the clown.
That's not that hard.
That's
He's masked essentially.
no.
It's easier.
That's the thing about being a clown. It's your face.
It's your face. I'm going to put a huge nose on
Should we call him Snatcher? Snatcher the
What do you mean
clown.
it's your face? He's got paint on it.
Yeah, it's not a mask. Okay, you feel okay about that?
Sure. I'm
Grabzo's good.
We can go crazy with that flyer. There's
Grabzo's
things we're
good.
going to be able to do.
We'll take audience suggestions on the name, but Grabzo's a very good start.
Okay.
Grabzo's are good. Grabzo's good.
Okay, what do you want to do for my punishment?
I don't remember what we've discussed. I only remember the one that someone suggested one. You want me to read
Yeah,
that?
let's read the suggestion.
This was on the Discord channel in the Cash Me Outside, whatever you call it. Just a second.
You know what we should do? Let's do this,
Got it.
and let's do an Instagram poll with the top 3 punishments, and we'll do a poll and let people choose mine.
Okay.
For yours specifically? Okay. I'm okay
We'll do
with
that this week.
That's good.
I'll read this anyways because someone suggested it. Here's a challenge for the podcast, guys. You should totally dress up in a camo suit that looks like a big plant and be at the gateway or someplace safe to jump out at people. The other guys can record. That's funny.
It's funny. It's not
funny.
like that embarrassing though.
I might get punched.
You might get hit.
Yeah, that's okay. I'll probably deserve it.
We'll throw that one in there and see what people
Okay.
think. Yeah.
Yeah. Good, not great. Any others that came through?
Yeah, so there were some in the comments. I don't.
If
remember
there's
where
any
those
other
are now.
ideas, let us know.
Yeah.
Sometime this week we'll put up a poll and you can choose.
Okay.
Okay. Do we want to get into my solve?
Please.
Okay. So usually when I have a good solve, we don't mention it until we've checked it out. I feel like this is a pretty good solve. I don't know if Chad loves it. I think Caden likes it.
I like it.
I like.
Okay,
I,
do
love,
I think
I
it's
like half of
the-
it.
0 to 10, where do you rank it?
I think it's a 6.5.
Okay.
That's actually a pretty good number.
Because I love
think the
I love
first- I
parts
think-
of it.
I think the first part of it is 8 out of 10. I think the second part of it's a 3 out of 10.
It gets weaker as it goes along.
Yeah, that's fair.
Which
Yeah.
we're all familiar
We've
with.
been there. Someday soon. Okay.
Maybe.
So does it get weaker for you as it goes along? 'Cause I think the whole idea is that it builds. Okay.
All right.
This
Have we ever talked
this
about
solve is like a reverse orgasm.
Have we ever talked about on camera what Dave said to you when we met him?
No, I don't think we can.
We can't.
No, we
Do you
can't.
think David and John remember?
I don't know if they do, but it was unbelievable, and I'll never forget it.
That was so good.
Well, could we ask him next week?
No,
mean, they'll-
I think
they'll-
he'll feel embarrassed.
Well, we don't have to.
We
do
can
it
cut
on
this out, but
camera.
it was literally like, "Hey guys, how's it going? Good to see you. Yeah, nice to meet you in person." So like,
Christian said something stupid here.
Do you think they remember? This is so
and I
funny.
think I was like, "Oh, like
all the time.
I mean, twice as much as I deserve and half as much as I'd want."
Was that what you said?
I don't know. I, just
I
came
don't
up with
even
that.
remember.
No,
I
no.
blacked out.
He's just
was
like, I'm
so
not gonna give
funny.
him a number.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah,
That was so funny.
okay.
I think we can keep that.
I think you should blank it out,
The
beep it out.
Beep what you said out.
Dave's name.
Dave's name?
Yeah, because I think he'd be embarrassed.
I don't think so.
I think he'd probably
Eh.
he probably thinks about this more than
All
we
right,
do.
yeah, I'll probably.
I can't believe I asked him about just met. I don't even know what the point of it was.
I don't know.
Because I wonder if it'd be like, because I just.
That's so
All
funny.
right. Okay. You would think John would ask that. Anyways.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. So we'll go into myself that these guys are okay about. I like it maybe a little bit more. I think I like it 7.5, but most people like their own selves more. What we'll do is I'm going to send some screenshots to our friend Chad here who produces the podcast. And as we're talking about these things, hopefully some things will pop up on the screen to show you visuals of some stuff. That's okay?
Yeah, you're going to screen
Do you
record?
want to screen record?
No, I don't.
But that's so much easier, though.
I know, but I only really want to show 3 things.
Okay.
Okay. So, fabled words resound. Myself for this is starting with the Salt Palace. So, some people have already done this before and have ideas with the Salt Palace. As I researched it, I realized, this is actually a really big part of Utah history. There's been like 8 presidents that spoke in the Salt Palace. There's been all like really notable, the most famous musicians actually performed in the Salt Palace. But it mentions before the standing steps and kings were crowned. So that's always kind of thrown me off. But if we look at king's standing steps as being Led Zeppelin, maybe Stairway to Heaven connection, and the king being crowned being Elvis, both performed at the Salt Palace in the early 1970s. But right, and they performed right at the beginning of it. However, if we look before that, there was actually an original Salt Palace built in 1899, and
Which I didn't know. I just thought the Salt Palace that's there today was always the Salt Palace.
It was actually a really big deal. A really famous architect designed it. It was seen as being like one of the amusement park of the West, and it was a beautiful palatial building. That's why they call it the Salt Palace. And it was built of blocks of actually like salt from the Great Salt Lake. And so it had this really beautiful, blocks of salt.
It was built from it, or it was just like adorned with it?
I think it's salt blocks is what they say. If that was built, they built with timber and salt blocks.
Wow.
Can you make that like sturdy enough? That's crazy.
You know what? That's a really good question because it burnt
No,
down 10 years
because
later.
it burned down.
Can you burn salt?
You know what? This is not the part where I'd want you.
This doesn't sound
I
real.
didn't think this is where you'd be poking holes. Okay, I'm just telling you what happened. So, the original Salt Palace is a little more north, more closer to kind of where the Temple Square is. That famously burnt down in 1910. So here's kind of the part of the salt I'm not so sure about, but it says follow the path of the lion-hearted teams. So there was a fire brigade. They didn't have like firemen back then. The way they actually fought this fire is by bringing it from the only fire station, which was Ottinger Hall. And that basically they had a big pump there and they had to manually bring the water to fight that fire. So
like
if I'm
in buckets.
In buckets,
Yeah.
yep. If I'm following the path of the lion-hearted teams that fought this fire, I'm going to Ottinger Hall. That's important because that gets us to that. Ottinger Hall is right at the mouth of City Creek Canyon Trail. Also, what's really interesting, the next line says, only outshone by Jewel's unyielding gleam. The same architect who designed and built the Salt Palace also designed and built the Capitol building. And if you look at this in the map, right next to Ottinger Hall, and this is kind of around the Memory Grove area, is the state capitol. And if you're looking at it, you'd be able to see it, and then above it would be the unyielding gleam of the state capitol.
Right.
And so I think that's an interesting connection. Also, the fact that the architect's name was Richard, which is an interesting connection to Richard the Lionheart for that line. So
Let's say like 30% of the populace was named Richard back then.
Okay. You can shut it, Dick. Okay. So he don't put that. I feel bad about that one.
No, that's not the worst thing you've ever said.
That's true. Okay, so that gets us. Those are important lines. Those first 4 lines get us to the trailhead. Now it says follow the arrow. On this street across where Ottinger Hall is, really just like a couple houses up, there is a big sign that has a green arrow pointing down the path of the City Creek Trail.
Right.
And there's a couple more of those green arrows that are leading that on that path.
I don't think, I to the point of the green arrow, I don't think that the arrow is going to be a super unique arrow. I think it's going to be an arrow that exists probably on most trails.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't.
Yeah, because it's not like in your face, but it is on the street sign. It's fairly
It'll be
big,
like
it's green.
But it's there.
And
it's
pointing
obvious,
on
and
the
you're
path
supposed
of
to
where
follow
it's
it.
going to go. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
and this is you going on this trailhead. Now, a lot of people are like, okay, City Creek Canyon is closed. People have mentioned that. It's actually not. It's closed to a certain point of the trail, and we're never going to get to that point. So you can hike it. You can go on it, no issues. You're going to take this trail. The next lines talk about the bank and walking the plank.
Mhm.
On this trail, as you get to the point where it's kind of just before we get to the kind of banking east, there's a really skinny bridge that looks like a plank, and that's what I have for that. Now that in this case is I'm kind of putting the bank as being the river that you're crossing,
Right.
or the path banking right at that point.
Which I don't think you even like this.
The bank, I've kind of always felt that the bank might be a throwaway line, but if it is, yeah, it doesn't have a great significance in this case. The
Right.
plank I do like as far as bridge goes, because this is a very, like, I don't think they're going to have you go on a trail where it's like literally a piece of wood across a river, because rivers get like fast and they're
Right.
not
It
going to
doesn't
send
have to,
people
though.
anywhere dangerous.
Why is plank the only one that you're taking literally throughout the whole poem?
That's a good point, because it's convenient to myself. Just to be super clear. So I like
That's
this
true.
because it's a real bridge. You're not going to it's not dangerous, but
Sure.
it is very plankish.
It's
and
pretty
very
planky.
narrow.
It's
Yeah.
pretty planky.
Okay.
We'll show a picture of it
Yeah.
on the screen.
Now the Pharaoh line is kind of interesting. I kind of went over that, skipped over that. But the Pharaoh, I think, could be two things. Number one, this path is very much covered in trees, and the sun is peeking out, in and out, in and out, just because it's a very covered tree hill, like tree covered path, especially at this point. After this point, it's not so much that way. Now the other thing I saw for the Pharaoh, and I showed this to you guys. We'll see what our audience thinks.
Yeah.
Is the Valley of the Kings, which is where a lot of the famous pharaohs are buried. It's also featured in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. We'll show you a picture of what that looks like. And then I will show you a picture of what this rock feature looks like that's along this path that you're walking on. And it is very much peekaboo, because as you're walking, you can see it, you can't see it, you can see it, you can't see it, because of all the trees that are covering the area.
Yeah.
So that would be a connection between the Valley of the Kings for the pharaohs and this rock feature that's right on the path as you're walking on this trail. Now, getting a little more looser, the parts you like even less. So the Princess Peach line, you're going to get to a point with this trail where you actually can't go that much further because it's closed because of construction. But before you get to that, this trail intersects with another trail, which you can continue hiking on, which is called Pipeline Trail. So that's a connection for Princess Peach being pipes, the song that he whistles, the ground theme. Has a lot that's played during where they're going down the pipes, things like that. So that's a loose connection, but people brought that up before about Princess Peach just being connected to pipes of some kind.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's more likely something more to do with Princess Peach than it is generally Mario.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That one feels like it's like, oh, there's pipes.
Yeah.
Mario.
Princess
Yeah.
Peach to Mario to the fact that they use pipes to go places.
Yeah.
But
Man,
It-
that would be a good bet that it's not pipes.
yeah.
That
could
can be
change.
my secondary bet.
What does a secondary bet mean? Do you have a secondary punishment? Do we all take on two bets?
I'm okay if we don't. Okay, so the Pipeline Trail, then the idea at this point, I don't really have much on because I think you'll have to be on the trail for this.
Right.
I do like the idea of music having to direct us towards how long we're hiking or even distance.
So the only thing about this there hasn't really been music
Yeah, I mean, music,
intertwined in this.
Salt Palace, Elvis
Yeah,
before Elvis
that's true,
performed
that's
before. Now, I think it would be interesting if Stairway to Heaven did come back into play here.
Yeah.
If that was it's a very famous little melody that Princess Peach could sing. PP being Plant and Page. I think that could be interesting. I think I do still feel like the most likely scenario is this line has to do something with distance or time of how much you hike.
Which line?
The Princess
Princess
Peach
Peach
and the Dark Side of the Moon line.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's going to be as on the nose as just how long
The album is.
the album of Dark Side of the Moon is.
Yeah, I don't agree with that either. Yeah.
But I don't think
I
it's
mean-
just how length. It could be just at a certain money in that album is at this mile, minute 8 and second 13. So you're going to hike 0.8313 miles or something
See,
like that. I think there could be other ways of looking at it.
Well, I don't
Yeah.
think those types of solves like usually I'd say, oh, John and Dave wouldn't do that. That's not like how they usually do it.
Mm.
But those types of solves, they do those type of things, like timestamps, time codes. But that's a QR code hunt type of thing.
Yeah.
Like we have
Well-
always brought up time codes in almost all of the poem hunts, and it never is. It's
Well,
never a
it
thing.
was. They did that for a past poem where you had to
It was
measure.
a book thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, the
It
book.
was a book.
Yeah, and like the chapter and verse of how far you had to go.
Yeah,
Um,
which is cool.
Yeah. So I mean, I think
I guess it's the same thing.
it's really the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that's a good point. Yeah.
But the whole trail is this whole path would take you less than an hour to hike. I feel good about a lot of it. Some of it's weak. I think some of it, like going from the Salt Palace to the fire station where they fought the fire, that's following the path of the lion-hearted teams.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I don't know about that. But that is an important line because that does get you directly to
Right
the
to
mouth
the-
of the canyon, right to the trailhead,
Yeah.
right to the arrow. I actually kind of like the Valley of the King's Pharaoh thing just because they usually use a rock structure,
Yeah.
and the rock structure comparison usually isn't perfect.
And this is good enough to be recognizable, but imperfect enough to be like, people will get mad a little bit. Maybe.
Yeah, because like
cast
I think a
some doubt
pyramid,
on
like where people are normally thinking is like a little, maybe that's too easy to recognize or there's too much pyramid shape. But like Valley of the Kings, where
Valley
the
of the
pharaohs,
Kings, I like that,
especially
connection.
because it's connected to Indiana Jones: The Last Crusade.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that was kind of interesting.
which I don't know if they've listed that as one of their favorite movies, but I would be surprised if they don't
It
love
makes a lot of
Indiana
sense,
Jones.
yeah.
Yeah. So if
Um,
anyone that's listening to this has gone up to the City Creek Trail and hiked on it, how did you get there? What steps did you take to get to that hike? And did you find anything? Oh no, but did you like?
Did you find the treasure?
I'm
Did you
curious.
find it?
I'm just curious. Like, okay, how did you get to the same thing? Was it a similar
different
logic,
solve,
a different
different-
solve?
and see,
And what did you see while you were up there? Like things like that.
Chad brought
I'm
up a really
curious
good
about
point with like Salt Palace, being people getting to Salt Palace just because of the King reference.
So
Yeah.
yeah, my thing was like, I doubt they would choose something that important as far
that
as
you could get to
at the
another
beginning
way.
of the poem that you could get to just from a on the nose connection to the poem from king to palace. Like
Yeah.
that just Christian's way of getting to it, if there hadn't been that other way to get to it, the other path, I like a lot.
Yeah,
But
I get
just
that.
based on the fact that there's another, everyone's gonna go there, I don't think that is the solve.
Yeah,
That's like a
Yeah,
big
that's
that's
fair.
a big thing for me.
I would
And
have
that's at the beginning. It's
Yeah.
at the beginning. So it kind of invalidates it for me. But
totally. I would have loved if the Lion-Hearted teams, if I could find something online about the teams that built the Salt Palace, like they went to a specific quarry
Yeah.
to get the rock to bring it to build it, because
Well,
that would make a lot more sense for like teams of oxen that used.
they went
pull
to
it.
the lake.
I know. I guess there are hiking trails technically like the Saltaire. That's where they went to. Is where the Saltaire is. The Saltaire was also built by this same architect.
Wow, this guy
Oh,
was
really?
a
Just
serial-
loved salt.
Seriously.
He's like, I got a thing. I'm gonna go with it. I guess he did the state capital, which I don't think they're salted there.
There's
A lot
probably
of
some
salty
salt.
people.
Well, that's good.
Oh, politics. Okay, that's
yeah.
my
But
solve.
no, that's good.
If you
It is
live
good.
up there, you want to check it out. If you like to solve, I'd also be interested if you have a solve for the same area, but that uses portions
Yeah.
of that connection, but not all of it.
You don't feel confident in that one to go on a hike,
I would if it was a little closer.
really?
It's,
Okay.
I mean, it's a good
If
hour
so,
drive, and then
yeah, I'll go on a hike if other people come in and fill in some of the. If we can fill in some of the holes in it a little bit,
Yeah.
then I'll go. I'm getting about to the point where I'm like, let's go on a hike.
please,
Let's do
audience, please fill in our holes. That would mean a lot to us, and that's all we'd ever want from you.
this. Anyways,
Perfect. Anything else with solves? Because we do have that special announcement. Was there anything else that we want to hit? Should we
there
just
was
say the
something
announcement
else.
now before we
Just-
wrap, so it's not the very last thing we
I
say?
have another solve.
yeah, save it right now.
I have
Hey,
another solve. I'm very very excited about.
Say it right now. Then I have a thing, and then Christian's got his. Mine's just a short thing.
Okay,
Okay.
it is. I mean, at least he knows it.
Okay. Our very special announcement is. Chad, do you want to say it? Christian, do you want to say it?
It's actually not
It's
like
not
a for sure
necessarily
thing.
confirmed.
We just need one more person to agree to it. John and Dave.
John and
are
Dave
coming-
are a maybe on next week's podcast.
They're a probably.
Okay, not
I
a
mean,
maybe. They're a
Da-
probably.
Dave is usually down. It just comes down to
Timing,
finding a
schedule.
time.
Yeah.
And
But their
they're
hearts are willing.
probably- Sunday
Yeah.
nights are pretty,
It's my favorite episode of the year.
That's the best.
Yeah.
We've done it the last 3 seasons. It's great. We always coax a little bit more out of them than I think they want to share.
Yeah.
We'll play
Last-
ball with them.
Last year they
Maybe
came
we go
with
get
a
milkshakes. Maybe we'll become best friends. We
Last-
ask them to sponsor the podcast, produce it.
What?
Just
oh
joking.
yeah.
Go ahead.
Last year they came with a clue prepared,
Yeah.
And
like a
gifts.
special clue just
That
for
was
this
amazing.
episode.
They gave us gifts.
Oh, they did give us gifts.
Yeah.
I still have.
It's
mine.
on my
I know.
desk.
They're
Yeah.
over there.
Yeah,
I
we
look
still
at
have
it
them.
and I think about them.
Yeah, and we've got gifts for them this time. We got the shirts.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
gonna be good stuff.
And
It's
we've got one
where-
for Greg
where-
Ostertag. So
Yeah. Greg.
Yeah, we need to do.
Greg,
something
come
with
claim
those.
your shirt.
Yeah.
Oh.
So we're excited. It's likely
Should
going to
we
be
say
next
best
episode is-
review
Go ahead.
overall? They get one of the shirts.
Sure.
Okay,
That's
whatever.
our other half of our budget. So they
All right.
will
Okay.
claim 100% of our budget.
I paid for those.
Yeah. So that'd be great. We're excited. We'll also put a poll out this week asking people to give us questions for us to ask Dave and John. We will do our best to ask them. If they're too please be reasonable. They're not going to tell us very explicit
Yeah.
answers to stuff. So we try to give us questions that you think they actually might answer. Usually things that are not directly on the nose, but I think a good question, what class would be more important in college to solving this? Music theory, music history. I think
Yeah.
those type of questions where they can lead you down a path a little bit without being what band should
What
we
band
be?
are we?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah. Anything else on that?
No.
No.
I don't know if you guys saw. I know
Oh, can I
Christian
say
did.
one more thing on
Yes.
that real quick? On that podcast, we are going to edit it and release it that night.
That is asking so much.
I know.
With video now,
Uh-huh.
we're gonna stay up all morning. We don't have to do that. People get over it. We're not gonna be sitting there with a solve.
Okay.
They'll get over it.
Okay.
I can't do that. Don't ask
I love
me
that.
to
I
stay
love.
up.
I just threw that out
I know,
there
you
to the
threw that
guy.
out, but you haven't even
Well, I
asked
forget.
me.
I used to be the one to
Yeah,
edit it,
you
so I'd be
used to
like, I
edit
will
it.
fall on the sword.
It
We did
used
that
to,
last
it used
couple
to
of
be
days.
like a 2-hour thing. Now it's like a 6-hour thing.
Yeah.
I think it's actually kind of funny. I was thinking about this right before the episode. My boss listens to this, and I edit the episode during work with him sitting behind me. And it's just kind of no one's ever addressed it. I just spend one of my days just editing our podcast. Anyway, sorry, Todd. I don't know how much I'm going to get done tomorrow.
That's okay.
But yeah.
I give you permission. I will say this.
You're sort of my boss, right? Not really. You have no power.
Test me. It's just joking. People do get a little bit nervous that we're gonna have all these clues and hints that we're gonna sit on it. We promise you that we won't. We won't release any clue or hint we get from them before it's published, and we will publish it as quickly as we can.
Yeah.
And we will not go on a hike ourselves before we publish.
And we won't even think about it.
I mean, in the time that we'll release the episode, I will sleep, edit, and then release. I have to work as well at some point.
Yeah.
And then I got a girlfriend to keep happy. I just got to throw that in there.
Seriously.
Gas ain't free. Okay.
The other thing I was gonna say, John had posted a story. Did you guys see this? That people were trespassing at
Oh yeah.
Pharaoh's Glen.
event venue called Pharaoh's Glen. Don't do that. They were interrupting weddings.
Please.
How insane is that? The owner had to call John and Dave, or I don't know if he called them, get a hold of John and Dave and just be like, hey, tell them to stop.
That's crazy.
Once again, the answers to riddles will not be explicit references to words in the poem.
Yeah.
It was never going to be at Pharaoh's Glen. It's never going to be at Princess Peach Tree Lane. Do you know, it's just not. I'm going to be wrong one of the times with this, but I think that's a very novice treasure hunter thing to do. Be like, Pharaoh's Glen.
No,
That's
well,
good.
not
They probably didn't have answers for anything else. They just found that one word connection, just word association, and then they go search for theirs. So
yeah.
just-
And not only that, but it's also private property.
Yeah.
It's not even going to be, it won't.
That's also
and people were calling him all the time. He was getting
Yeah, they're calling
what are you going to do? Call him and be
business.
like, hey, is there treasure on your on your land? He's like, yes, that's all you had to do. You had to call me. Here's the treasure.
Which
that's my idea.
it's a shame because I bet that would have been a lot of good exposure if it had been a different type of business,
Oh,
but it's
yeah.
an event venue
Yeah.
where it's
like the
You
bears,
Don't call here.
like
Don't.
the bear's den,
What's the bear's den?
the one-armed stripper.
Oh,
Those
yeah. If it
guys,
was a strip
no,
club, everyone was just
they
rolling in
loved
there.
us seriously.
They loved us.
Okay, she's the sweetest girl. Just wish people looked past her one arm and got to know her like I've got to know her personality. Okay.
Okay, what was the last solve you had? You had something.
No, I have a really good solve. I haven't even told you guys this
I'm excited.
because I don't even trust you guys with it.
But
What, you just text
Yeah.
your brothers with it?
I text one of my brothers with it.
Uh-huh.
in Christian's
I
defense,
will-
his
I'm
brothers
going to-
respond when he
I
texts.
will share with you guys after this what the solve is. And I think if it doesn't work out for John
What
and
do you
Dave,
mean you'll share with it? As you're going to share it right now.
no, I'm not going to share my other solve yet.
Oh, you have a good.
I have
solve.
a solve I like better than this last one.
Why didn't you share it? We're
Ooh.
your team.
I'm surprising you with it.
Did
So-
you share it with Claire?
No,
Have you shared it with your brothers?
I shared some of it with one of my brothers.
Okay.
But
Which
you
one?
guys-
Jordan?
I-
David?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So if you guys like it, after this episode's done, I'm going to share with you. We'll go hike it this week and we'll do a live recording as we hike it.
Okay.
Because I thought last time we did
I like
that
it.
was a lot of fun.
That was
was
really
fun.
fun. It ended
Um,
up being one of our better audio episodes too.
I think
It was good.
I feel as good about this as any solve I've ever had.
Really?
And
Okay.
if we don't find it, obviously we'll share it all.
When did you come up with it?
This morning.
In the tub?
All of his best ideas were in the bathtub.
That's true. I love it. Okay, well, let's wrap so we can hear the solve.
Okay.
Sorry, everyone, but in about 5 minutes, we'll know where Christian thinks it is.
Oh, this one's eating me. Oh, okay. Go ahead.
And no, I'm just excited to hear.
What is the alternative to telling us? Like, just go find it yourself. You get
Well,
$25,000,
okay.
and we're just like, what happened,
I've
man?
honestly thought about doing that because I'm just like, I don't want to. I don't know. More
wanna
mouths.
share
I
it.
already have lots of mouths to feed. Okay, I don't want to feed you
I
guys.
mean,
No,
it wouldn't end our friendship. That's all I'll say.
If I
No,
found
I
the
would
treasure
be so
without
happy.
telling
I
you
would
about
be so
it,
happy for
I would be happy.
you
for
know what I really
too.
want to do? I want to find it and then just record a normal episode, and then just in the middle of the episode, we guys, I got something to show you, and go and just grab the chest, and then be like,
Well, there's so many things that would happen. That
We would know.
We would already
that
know.
You found it.
no,
You just wouldn't tell John and Dave. That
You wouldn't wait
found
for
it
them.
until we
Yeah.
were in the.
You'd be the
Yeah,
first
that'd
to
be
know.
a stipulation.
That would be
you
pretty
had to
funny.
do it
Yeah.
on
that
the
you
podcast.
just open it up and we call.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
That would be
It's
Actually,
so
funny.
that
exciting.
would
We
be
might be doing that this week when we have Dave and John join next week. If we found it, we should just
Well,
bring the chest and be like,
They know when people are near.
"Oh yeah, that's a good point."
They also know when you are sleeping.
They know when you're awake.
Yeah.
Okay,
Anyways.
that's true. Okay.
That's pretty funny.
Well, we can stop talking about our fantasies live here on this episode.
All right.
Man, you get older and your fantasies start becoming about treasure hunting, and that's it.
Awesome. Well, thank
Seriously,
you.
when
Christian said something stupid here.
Oh my god. Right. We almost
All right.
made it to the end.
I think
Just say it.
Well, I just used to think about chest and booties, and now I just think about chest and booties. They're a completely different kind. Okay.
Oh, that's good. That's funny.
That's good. All right. Well, thank you guys. Anything else that we wanted to hit? Awesome. Well, we're excited to probably chat with John and Dave on our next week's episode. So if you can, again, just a reminder, submit some questions that realistically they could answer, they would answer, and we'll do our best to get it out to you in a timely manner. And, if we found it by then it'll be a celebratory podcast. But yeah, we're looking forward to it. And as always, catch you on the next one outside.
Held it.
Or cash.
No, you got that right.
Yeah.
You got it.
Okay.
Yeah.